the best time of the year to live in your car? Fall or spring? Those two seasons, fall and spring, are the sweet spots. Because the outside temperatures, the climate is perfect to live in your car totally off the grid without hookups, without any heating, without any cooling. Summer, winter are the most extreme weather. So, when you're transitioning, you don't want to go right into the extremes. You want to go into the sweet spots. Sweet spots, fall and spring. Now, it's relative based on the region of the world you live in. In America, where I live, some states, the northern states, get colder in the winter than the southern states. And so it's all relative to where you live. But, like for example, I live in the Northeast. I woke up this morning, it's 39 degrees, beautiful sleeping weather. I was sleeping like a baby last night with my, I don't know what I want to call it, a cashmere quilt, but it's just like a sexy quilt. And I got my layers on. I was snuggled up like a koala bear in its nest. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And so this weather is perfect because you got the fresh air coming in. You're not sweating your balls off with a fan blowing up your butt. And, you know what I mean? You're not freezing. It's perfect weather. I can adapt to either or. I've done the summers, I've done the winters. But what I am sharing for anyone thinking about the possibility of living out of their car, either they're daydreaming or they're watching me for fun because there's nothing else out there on TV. What are you going to... So what I'm sharing with you is if you're planning possibly to live out of your car, van, or RV totally off the grid, try to plan it for fall or spring because that's a transition. That's a smoother transition where you don't have to worry as much as about the climate, especially in the beginning. Because in the beginning of living out of your car, especially the first month or so, you're still figuring it out. Like the first month, you're going back and forth, you're trying to figure out routine. It's trial and error. So be mindful if you can plan the end of your lease, if you can plan to sell your house and land in between fall and spring. The average house to sell in a good economy takes 4.5 months in America. When does your lease end? Will it end in fall or spring? Think about that. Just think about it. At the end of the day, realize that to get to point A to point B, sometimes you got to say, fuck it, and you got to sell your house like that in the middle of the winter and just get in your car and go. Because to make progress in life, there's never going to be a perfect time and there will never be perfect conditions. You have to sometimes just do it and figure it out as you go. So never forget that. But what I am shedding light on is that if you can plan it, if it fits in the way you're trying to do it, fall or spring are the best times to live in your car or van or RV. I'm talking about RV off the grid. I am not talking about hooking up to electric or power in an RV park. And I am not talking about even solar. Solar isn't really off the grid. Solar's it's the sexy off the grid. I'm talking about I'm off the grid. My flashlight is a phone. I got a D battery fan. And I just layer up in winter for night for heat. And I'm peeing in a Poland Springs jug. I mean, that's off the grid. I'm living as off the grid as you can live. I mean, some people, they're not really living off the grid. Come on. Making videos about off the grid. They ain't off the grid. But that's for me. I recognize and realize my lifestyle is not for most people. And I, again, state responsibly that most people should not live out of their car. I'm in a very small percentage of people. But if you are going to try to be in that small percentage, be mindful. Be mindful of the seasons of the year and how you transition. Do not let that stop you from making a transition because, like I said, when I started, I did it at the end of the winter. Now, I didn't go right full time because I was still trying to figure out how to stay at somebody's house or do this and this and that until I figured out. But after about a month, full commitment, but then it just started to be spring. So I went through the whole summer, et cetera, and, going through a winter. If you layer up properly and if you're safe and if you're relatively younger age and if you're in relatively good shape, if you layer up and you bundle up, no issue. And in the summer, you're just basically stripping almost, down to your bare minimums and you're just having a fan blow up your butt if you want to live completely off the grid. Again, because some people, everything's relative. Some people want to live out their car, van, or RV and they want amenities. And they're going to have the Mr. Buddy heaters. They're going to have solar, they're going to have, different type of cooling systems, or they're going to have full RVs with full hookups. That's their personal preference, and I respect that, and I'm not speaking against that. But I'm speaking for my perspective, my experience, what I do. almost a full year living full-time out of my car, completely off the grid. And the best time of the year as far as climate and sleeping weather is fall and spring, because the temperatures in my region are just perfect. Like I said, if you can be in the high 30s, low 40s when you wake up in the morning, that's great. And it's like, you know what I mean? And it's warmer in the summer. I mean, warmer in the afternoon. That's perfect. In the summer, some nights can get uncomfortable. It's very humid, etc., etc. In the winter, you get a little cold. And especially if it's icy out there and it's crazy. It's like, you know, you're in Alaska. But that could be sexy too if you make it work for you. It's all relative to what you want to do. Because if you want to do something, you'll figure out how to make it work for you, if it's meant to be for you. Everybody's different. But I want to share that. Just be mindful in your planning mode. The sweet spots are fall and spring if you want to live out of your car, van, or RV. And I'm talking completely off the grid. All right? I'm not talking about anything else. At the end of the day, I'm feeling good because the temperature's just right for me right now. It's amazing. I'm feeling great. I feel great in my life. Now, I do like summer. And I do want to, again, I always do try to travel. Once it gets to the dead of winter, I try to go down to Florida for the most part. So I want to be fair too. But right now, I'm in a sweet spot. And I'm feeling great, feel amazing. I just want to share a little bit of love, a little bit of inspiration. I feel inspired, and I'm thankful. And I pray the best for you. Stay inspired.